Welcome to the Borderline Man. When I started this channel, I wasn't quite ready for how YouTube and the algorithms would identify and relate this channel. Well, I know they more related to what I click and what I watch than what I produce. But on the account I make these things, I've noticed that I get a lot of material, a lot of suggestions to watch. Well, pseudoscience actually. Charlatans, fake doctors, or even worse, real doctors that preach what is, in effect, not science. Or at least it is very dubious science. And when it comes to medical science and psychology, this is really nasty things and one of my pet peeves. Now, my channel is a vlog, my personal opinions. That's it. I'm not a professional. I'm sharing my experiences and I'm not pretending otherwise. But there are lots of content creators out there that use their profession or a fake profession to push an idea that they believe in and or a product. It's very much often so a product. So yeah, I've noticed that psychology and psychiatry related topics are not spared from this in any way at all. Oh, there's plenty of those content creators out there that offers simple, quick solutions to complicated problems, who blame things that are completely irrelevant. Like, for instance, oh, your mental health will improve if you stop eating sugars and if you stop eating chemicals, and they just use a lot of words which they in general hardly understand. I mean, everything is a chemical, basically. Chemical is just a compound of various substances. Well, that's what it is. Water is a chemical. I mean, is water dangerous? No. So they use a lot of words to spare fear-mongering. They use a lot of simplified solutions to how to improve yourself, which is really annoying. Like, for instance, if you have depression or any other related condition, you should exercise. You should walk out and let the sun heal you and, well, tan your butthole or something ridiculous like that, and everything will be okay. Now, exercise and fresh air and being out in the sun, it is good. It is good for you. And people who don't get enough of these things will become very often sick. We need it for a gazillion reasons. There's no doubt about that. But it is very rarely the cause of a condition. A mental condition, that is. It is almost never the solution to it either. And that's the most important thing. Being depressed is a complicated topic. It is not one single condition. It is actually a lot of conditions with a lot of various reasons and a lot of solutions, and sometimes it is uncurable. And yeah, going out exercising will benefit you. Of course it will. There's few things in life that won't be benefited from exercise, apart from an infection or something like that. Then you should take it easy. In all other cases, it is beneficial to exercise. So, will it fix you? Will it heal you? No. What it will do is shame people into trying out things that they feel guilty about, like, for instance, not getting enough exercise, which is the case for most of us in the Western world. At least we are lazy. We have jobs where we sit all day. We are often in positions where just everyday exercise isn't really available for us. We drive or commute to work. We sit at work and then we go home and we are tired because we have worked all day. Maybe, I mean sitting down is tiresome, and we kind of just fall asleep on the couch with guilt. That's the important part. Most of us feel guilt. So, exercise. Curing the depression that we suffer from, I mean, that won't work. I don't think there is any science backing up the claim that depression is caused by a lack of exercise. That's just bullshit, actually. It is basically the equivalent of taking an aspirin to feeling better when you have a pain. It won't, however, fix the problem causing the pain in any way at all. The best we can hope for is this. I must stress, the best we can hope for is this temporary relief of pain when endorphins flow through your body and you get distracted by the exercise and so on. But it won't fix anything. Not a single thing. And I think the sheer amount of bullshit you find here on YouTube is horrific, to say the least. Especially all those things where they want to blame what we eat for a rampant increase in various conditions. Here's the thing, there isn't a rampant increase in anything related to psychology. What we have is probably a shift, a paradigm shift in our view on things. That's the main thing here. And we diagnose things today. We didn't do that 50 years ago. So, boomer man out there listening to this who say that, well, in my day and age there were no kids having ADHD. No, they were the troublesome rascal which got beaten up and shamed and felt bad, and very often as an adult ended up in, well, all kinds of shitty problems. That is what happened in your days, old man. Now, I'm not saying there isn't maybe some cases over diagnosing things and quite possibly not taking responsibility of giving someone a diagnosis of some sort. There are issues, yeah, but they are not to the fact that we are eating sugars and that we are exercising too little. No, that's not the case at all. This is a case of source criticism, where people try to find simple answers that could fit their cognitive bias, their prejudice, their, oh, everything was better in the past bias, which so many of us are guilty of all the time. I am not better. I tend to rant about music and film and say most things were better in the past, but I know it is obviously connected to my bias opinion more than it is to a fact. And we tend to place everything in the past, especially a past perhaps in our young childhood, or even in our even before we were born. I've noticed that a lot of Americans tend to place the 1950s in this shimmering light, and then younger generations tend to put the 90s in this shimmering light. And sure, some things were great in those eras. There were a rich economy and things were booming, but hey, in the 1950s, United States was a rampant nation of persecution of political dissidents. I mean, good luck being even the slightest bit leftist in the United States in the 1950s. Holy shit, those were the days of persecution and racism and sexism, where women still couldn't pursue a career and so on. And let's go jump to the 90s. Okay, you had great economy, but you also had a lot of shitty businesses around the world. I mean, to be fair, United States was a nation that, well, it fueled a lot of the Islamic terrorism we see today, with pumping out guns and stuff like that for the various rebellions against Russian and Soviet friendly nations out there. So things are rarely better in the past. Not in a general way, and most certainly not in certain specific ways. And yeah, with that cognitive bias that we tend to idealize, especially in times where things are a bit bad for us, we tend to idolize other nations and other times and other places and everything other than the present. We kind of become, well, stupid. There's no other word for it. We tend to simplify things, and mental health is one of those things. We tend to pretend that things like borderline, bipolarism, narcissism, depression especially, and ADHD also, are modern inventions that didn't exist. They did exist. We were just severely underdiagnosed in the past, or called other things. Very often detrimental things that were there to shame us or to otherwise belittle us. And yeah, we weren't able to voice our experiences either. I mean, no YouTube. I mean, I rant about YouTube in the beginning of this clip, but hey, YouTube is a means of getting your opinion out there. Not just pseudoscience, but also personal experiences and comments about pseudoscience, like this one is. And yeah, I'm probably going to comment more specifically on some of the more famous clips out there. I do it with a heavy heart, because I know that by doing so I will give them what I actually don't want to give them: unwanted attention. I want these charlatans out there with their quick, easy fixes so they can sell their snake oil. I want them to suffer and get destroyed. But the problem is, if you don't face them and let people know that what they are selling are simple solutions to complex problems that rarely work. If they do, it's usually because of placebo or just random chance. Well, this was a rant from me. This morning I had an unusual amount of these clips on my YouTube feed, and it pissed me off. So, if anyone took offense, well, it depends on what you took offense about. If you took offense about my political things, I'm sorry, I can't do much about that. If you took offense about the pseudoscience, good. I want you to take offense because I want you to start applying cognitive processing power, i.e. your brain, to be a bit more skeptical about the things you read and see, and not just consider being skeptical about big pharma and big everything you call, but actually take a look at big pseudoscience and big woo, because if anything, it is them who are trying to sell you shit. And yeah, every aspect of being critical and skeptical, you know what it starts with? It doesn't start with finding issues and problems in other people and their claims and their background or motives and stuff like that. You know what it starts with? It starts with you. Analyze your own cognitive bias first. Then you might actually find a solution to the problem you're looking for and understand the world a little bit better. All right, in a rainy September evening or day, it's not evening yet, this is the Borderline Man signing off.